Firstly, before I tell you about my lived experience, I'm a mum of 3 boys, adult boys who have families, and I have 6 grandchildren. And now I have 2 great-grandchildren, which is absolutely amazing. I am about to turn the big 70 in January. So this journey of doing this recording is quite relevant in my time. So, and I have now a lived experience of suicide, and I suffer chronic mental illness and suicide ideation. Feelings of isolation, loneliness, feeling they were a burden or they are a burden, feeling abandoned, the loss of a full life that's surrounded by family and friends. That must be a big one for them. The family status of being either the patriarch or the matriarch of the family was an important role to them, and now they have been replaced. They feel replaced. The other concerns of being invisible, becoming invisible, and feelings of unworthiness, not being able to be as productive as they were. I don't have close friends in nursing homes yet, but I think that we have discussed this, and we all talked about the burdenness to our young families. Not too much about the matriarch, patriarch, because I guess we were a different generation to the one above us, but it very much so to the isolation. If we say that you lived in one town and the nursing home you had to go to was a town, the next town across. So therefore, family can't visit you every day. So there's an adjustment to make, and I find that would be very hard. For me, myself, I would be self-isolating. I would be not very in communication. Would that be a lack of communication? My self-neglect. And I wouldn't be participating in any of the activities that I normally would be participating in. I would be closing myself down, and I would not tolerate anyone being around me. I'd really that isolation, that soul of just keeping to myself. That would be a big sort of show of I'm in a crisis. Yes, that's a great question. I would need to feel a connection with that person, to feel that the person was genuine and really friendly, and sit down, and their language would be important also, not to be patronising and not to treat me as though I was someone who has no future or nothing else to give due to my age. Trust is another big one. It's a really big factor with me, and a need for the conversation to flow with ease and understanding. They're really important things that you have to talking to someone that you could just feel comfortable. It's really reassuring me that I'm talking to someone who really cares, and I know they're doing their job. But that's how I like to feel, that you feel comfortable. Then I can express exactly how I'm feeling. If the language is not right or the connection's not right, you're not going to tell the full story or the important parts of your story. I think it's making that connection. I know I'm repeating myself, but making that connection with that person, with me, is really crucial. So by just sitting and talking to me and finding common ground, just to sort of wait for the conversation to flow, to find what I'm giving and then pick up on that. It's helping me to understand that something I'm capable of. If I said, I used to do this, well, we could find a way of doing that. You mightn't be as active as you were when you were 25 or 30, but maybe we could find some sort of way of doing it. I think that to me is really important, for someone to sit with me in my space and find that connection of something that I could do to be a positive, something that will pass passion that I haven't done for ages, hobbies, anything like that, just to remember what I used to do and think, wow, could I do that again? Or the option is finding new things to do or new connections, like conversations, yarning, just sitting and talking to people over a cuppa. They're the important things you used to do when you were younger. Why aren't they now as important? Why do we isolate ourselves in our rooms when we could go and engage with others? So there has to be reasons why we're not sort of connecting, it's that person that comes in initially is the crucial point as far as I'm concerned. I think making that connection and me trusting them. I think it's a good communicator. I'm just finding, I just find that they need to be genuine and positive with their responses to my concerns. Like they come in and said, "Oh, Lea, why aren't you participating in these games today?" "Oh, I'm not feeling very well. I'm not myself today." And then they sit down and they can talk to me. And if it's the person that I've communicated with before or someone new that has that good communication skills, that I think that I could sit down there and talk and then you're sort of coming out of that darkness that you've got yourself into by sort of isolating yourself. And I think I want to feel validated. I think that someone is listening to my needs and my requirements, and that I'll be treated with respect, and they will sort of give me full consideration of what I'm going through. And I think that's really important. I just think the other thing there is once we have that conversation, a follow-up too. I think it's great to have someone to come back and communicate with me how we're going and how I'm going. That would reduce my anxiety. My sense of purpose is to make sure that I keep my mind active and be involved. And my involvement is do my family history. My other involvement is being passionate about peer support and about people with lived experience of suicide, and our talking to people and hopefully, encouraging and being a role model for younger peers. That keeps me active and young. And I'm thinking about retiring from that role next year, and I'm just now wondering what I'm going to do. So I'm trying to set up some new hobbies to learn, but I still will be involved, but not on such an energetic level, I guess, but still advocate and things like that. But it's really important to keep your mind active when you have a chronic mental illness and suicide ideation. It's really not giving you the time for your brain to go into those dark places. Just keep it active. And also you need to have lots of self-care. That's, my very, very big on self-care, where I can just have time to myself. And, if my mind's capable, doing reading, relaxing, sitting down with my husband with a cup of tea. It's just a thing we do every afternoon. It's just something that relaxes me, and just to have a chat. That chatting and that connection with someone is just so important. To be open, to be engaging, not to have a ticker box sort of attitude. I think that if I walked into a service that, was looking for help with aged care, I'd need them to be friendly and to treat me like, someone that's, they talk to every day. I just think that human touch, that human sort of connection, I keep repeating, I'm really sorry, but the connection, but it's just so important. And I think that if the service, good customer service in something like a service like you have for any of the aged care places or any service, going to a chemist, anywhere you go, it's so engaging when you can talk to a young person that or an older person that's just happy to listen to what you've got to say, try and fill your what you want done, or help you with service you can't find or something like that. Just, and if they don't know, they may be able to help you to pass it on to another service. So that's what you want, and that's what I try to do when I'm, working with people with a lived experience, is trying to accommodate the pathways, and I think that's really important. So I just think it's engaging and connection. I really do, Bronwyn. It's just so important.